What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Tekken 8 Beginner's Guide. Today we're looking at Martial Law, fan favorite character. He looks amazing in this game, and they've done a great job making him very beginner friendly. So he's a very good character to start with. Overall, he's very all-around, doesn't really have any major weaknesses, will teach you a very good fundamental game of Tekken, while also having a lot of gimmicky strings that'll help you in the lower levels if you just want to climb ranks. So he's really a one-size-fits-all character. He can do it all. And like I said, he's been made a lot easier in this game compared to Tekken 7, with a lot of his execution demands just being completely removed. So, very good character for beginners, and let's begin. As always, this beginner guide will teach you everything you need to know to get started with the character, but you will have to go seek further resources if you want to get super in depth with the character. So, let's begin. Jab, standard jab, decent range. +1 on block, we use this to take our turn back and to pressure our opponents. We have 1-1, high, -8, and then we have 1-1-1. This is a heat engager in this game. It is -12, so it's unsafe. Your opponent can punish this. You got to be careful with it. However, on counter hit, it's a guaranteed string, so if the one's a counter hit, it becomes guaranteed. Kind of just not you don't want to be throwing this around too often, but it is good to catch your opponent off guard when they're not expecting it. Just do like 1-1, 1-1, and then boom, throw in the mid. We also have 1-1-2, another string. It's safe, but it is a high, which is not very good because our opponent can duck it very easily. We have 1-2-3. This is probably your best string out of one. High, mid, only -5. Very nice move. And we also have 1-2-2-2. Not very great, but it's there. It's still safe on block. We have down forward 1, standard down forward 1 at 13 frames. The range is kind of, it's weak. It's nothing like some of the new characters in this game, like Jin's is incredible. But it's still a down forward 1, very important. If you don't know, general Tekken gameplay is just poking with our 1s, and then when they start to duck, we check them with our down forward 1. So mixing in our jab for plus frames and our down forward 1. This down forward 1 is actually very strong because it's only -1. Most down forward 1s in this game are more laggy than that at like -4, 5, or 6. Only -1, so basically neutral. Very strong. We do have a follow-up after this with 3, so down forward 1-3. It's a low. I wouldn't recommend going for this too often because, as you can see, it is -5 on hit and it's launch punishable on block. So be careful. But if you are in a last hit situation, you can down forward 1-3 to get that final tiny bit of damage you need. But -5 means you're completely giving up your turn. So be careful with that. Back 2, safe mid poke with a ton of extensions. See, it's only -8. Back 2-2. It's a mid-high, -9, and this is actually very hit confirmable. So if you see that it hits, you can very easily react. You have a lot of time to press the second 2. So boom, boom. Good follow-up. It is a high, so you have to be careful. It can be ducked, but nice option to go for overall. We have back to 1, as we can see here. It is launch punishable. -15. You have to be very careful with this. It does give a knockdown on hits, and so if you've been doing back 2 a lot and they're starting to duck the last hit, you can throw this in as a mix-up. Wouldn't recommend it. Very unsafe, but just so you know, you have the option. We have back 2-3. This is our low follow-up. -1 on hits, and it's only -12 on block. Again, just like the other one, can be good to catch your opponent off guard. It's not super risky. At worst, you're going to take 20 damage if it gets blocked. But something worth noting, -1, but it's pretty decent. We have 2-2, very strong string in this game. Safe, high mid string, with another 2 follow-up we can add. So if you just do 2-2, it's -8. You can do 2-2-2, and then it becomes -9. Generally, you just want to be doing the 2-2. Usually in Tekken, we high mid are the best strings, high mid strings. You don't really like strings that end in high because your opponent can just duck it, and they can just completely launch you. So 2-2, you want to be using this, check your opponent, and occasionally you can throw in the last hit. It is still safe, but again, it can be ducked, so be careful. 4-3, this is a high string, but the reward you get on this is insane. This is one of his best strings. So high can be ducked, but if we hold forward after this, we can transition into one of his stances. This is insanely strong because if we look at the frame data, we are +8 on block. That's insane. Insane plus frames on this. Before, to get into the stance, you needed very good execution. No longer. Now you just hold forward. So again, very good for beginners. I'm going to talk about the stance fully later, but just know generally for 3, hold forward and you get a free mix-up opportunity because you have a big advantage. Plus frames just means we have a big advantage over our opponents, and it's basically still our turn. It is also a counter hit launcher if we do the string. So if we set it to counter hit, boom, boom. Counter hit launcher, right? What's not to like? Remove this. It used to be just 4 that was a counter hit, but now you actually have to commit to the second part of the string. But it is a counter hit launcher, so very, very strong. Situations like this, like I said, we generally don't like high strings, but this one just gives you such a big reward. But do be aware your opponent can duck the second hit and launch you, so if you see they're starting to duck it, you can ease up on that a little bit. Forward 3-1, I should say, is a safe string. Actually very, very strong. Mid-mid. -2 normally, but if we hold forward, oops, +4 on block. So you're starting to see a pattern here. A lot of Law's best pokes take you directly into stance, and we get big mix-ups, very big mix-ups. Speaking of plus on block moves, we also have forward 1+2. This is a great move. +3 on block and forces your opponent into crouch. I mean, what's not to like there? It's a little bit slow, 20 frames, not that slow. So like you're mixing in your jab, you're down forward 1. Law is very good like chip, very good poking, poke, boom, plus frames, and then we go into stance. Lots of very, very good options here. What's cool about this one is it is also a full counter hit launcher. So we do this, oops, boom, you get a full launch. What's not to like, right? Very, very, very good move. Plus frame, like he has so many plus frames, especially with his stances. What else do we have here? We have sidestep 2. Neutral on block. It's a mid, neutral on block, does decent chip damage. What's not to like? Resets the situation. Throw that in sometimes along with his poking. Boom. We have down forward 4. Oops. Down forward 4. Safe mid poke. Good range. Pretty decent range. Only -8. And we do have a follow-up. Now this is a little bit gimmicky, but a lot of low-level players will fall for this. If we do down forward 4-3, this gives us, it's -14, so some characters can launch it. But boom, gives us a full launch. Be careful with this. Like I said, -14, but a lot of people, especially like if you know your opponent always presses whenever you use strings, you can do boom. What else do we have here? We have back 4. Great, safe homing mid. Set him to block again. Boom. Safe homing mid, only -7. So when you know your opponent's going to start sidestepping, you use this to catch them. Now we have a couple options here. We can hold back to make it more safe. So if we hold back after doing this, it's only -4. And we transition into one of his Law's bad stances where it's like back facing your opponent. But the better option here that we'll be using a lot is a follow-up. We have a 3 follow-up. It is a high, so your opponent can duck it, but it's only -5, and this is a natural combo. So if you catch your opponent sidestepping, back 4-3. It's guaranteed if you hit the first hit, and you get a good chunk of damage. So that's mainly how you're going to be punishing people who sidestep. We also do have another option with back 3. This is a more slow, chunky option. It's -12 on block, but it does have very good pushback, as you can see. Gives a bigger knockdown, so you can go for this for a little bit more damage. But overall, you're not really going to be using that one as much. Down back 2, another safe mid poke that goes into his back-facing stance, as you can see. Only -4 on block, and we get some mix-ups. A string that low-level Law players really like a lot is, oops, 3 + 4, 4. If you've played ranked mode, let's set him to standing block after so I can show you guys. 3 + 4 and then mash 4 immediately after. If you're in ranked mode, you've seen a lot of Law players spam this move. And for good reason, it's kind of a noob check. This will help you guys in the lower ranks. 3 + 4, as you can see, is -13. But yeah, if we press 4, it becomes +7 on block, so it keeps your turn. Pretty decent move. The one problem with it is it can be interrupted by anyone who knows what they're doing. As you can see there, if they just jab, they interrupt the 4 and you don't get it. So good players will punish you for this, but a lot of bad players will just let you get away with this for free. So you can use this if you want. It's also a high, the second hit, so it can be ducked by good players. So if you're still new, very new to the game, you can use this. The better option, in my opinion, if you want plus frames and like a move kind of like that, is the while running 3. So this is forward, forward, forward 3. Oops. This is a mid. +6 on block, can't be ducked, does good chip damage. Very, very great move for pressure. Excellent move for pressure. So let's quickly talk about his launchers and heat engagers. Down forward 2, great keep out move. Very, very good. It is completely safe on block, as you can see. Kind of similar to Paul's down forward 2. A little bit worse. It's more minus, I think, and not nearly as much high crushing, but it is excellent for keep out. If you know your opponent's going to run in, throw this out. And when you do hit it, you get full launch. So very, very good move. Very important part of Law's kit. Really quick, if you guys are enjoying this video and are interested in more beginner's guides like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work out for me, and only about 7% of my viewers are subscribed. So please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. It's free to do, and you can always change your mind if you don't like my content later on. Anyway, back to the video. Forward 3+4. It's safe on block, and this is a full counter hit launcher. If we go into, oops, counter hit launcher. What's not to like, right? Safe on block, like I said, very, very strong option. Evades lows as well. That's another big thing. If you know your opponent's like spamming lows, go for this one. Good option. We have some other more gimmicky options, which I think is worth mentioning, especially for a lower level. Down 2-3 is a launcher that no one is ready for, because it's just weird. It starts from a crouch jab and it alternates to a middle. That is -15, so it's launch punishable. But so many people will get caught by this, and nobody knows how to punish it, especially in like green ranks. So it's now a full launch, and you get your full combo. So it's gimmicky, it's unsafe, but you can do down 2-3. A lot of people won't punish this properly, so it's kind of a noob check there. We have up forward 3. This is our best heat engager, in my opinion. Very, very, very good move. It's completely safe on block. One of his only heat engagers that's safe on block. Jump, so it avoids lows. Very fast at 18 frames. And what's cool is you can do this out of crouch. So you'll see later, Law has a lot of mix-ups out of crouch. So usually threatening his slide, which we're going to talk about later. But you can do this out of crouch. Boom. -8 on block. Full heat engager. One of your best tools, for sure. We have forward 3 is another heat engager. -13, which is actually a big buff. It was a lot more minus in Tekken 8. And it has power crush as well, obviously. Unsafe, -13, but can be good to use sometimes. We have 1-1-1, as I mentioned earlier. Heat engager. 1 is only true on counter hit. Don't want to be throwing it around normally. And we also, in the same vein as that, have the back 1-2-2. This one is -14, but again, on counter hit, it becomes a true string, I believe. We can make sure. I tested it before, but yeah, so both of these become true strings on counter hit. Otherwise, they're unsafe, so be careful with them. You know, you don't want to throw it around too. Even though in lower level, I know they're not going to be punishing this stuff as much, you still want to be very careful with it. And next we have forward 1 out of his stance. -9. This is another one of his safe heat engagers. Very, very fast at 14 frames. One of the fastest heat engagers for sure that he has. Good knockback. Excellent. But you're probably wondering, okay, what is this stance? So now let's talk about it. Martial Law, his stance is very, very important to his game plans. He has it too, but specifically it's this one, which is the dragon stance. So we enter this by pressing down 1+2, as you can see. Manually enter it, and we get access to a ton of stuff from this. So like I just said, forward 1, very, very strong heat engager out of this, and we have a lot of other options. So stance 1, this gives us a high that is neutral on block. But what's interesting about this is it brings us, it's like it goes into itself. So you press down 1+2, go into stance, press 1, and that brings you back into stance after this move. So it chains, it keeps going into another stance. So you can link these together forever. It'll just keep bringing you back into stance. And neutral on block. So pretty cool option there. We have 3. This is a homing high that's +3 on block. Chip damage as well. Plus frames are always very, very good. We have 4, the 4 option, which is a low. Pretty decent low. +6 on block, which is very, very good. We always like lows that give big plus frames. We have forward 4. Very, very good option. It is a high, so it can be ducked, but a lot of people aren't expecting this out of stance, just for you to go for this. Forward 4, +7, and you keep your pressure going. So you're starting to understand a lot more. Like, we're transitioning into stances, we're doing pressure, we have low options, tons of really cool stuff here. We can also grab out of this stance by pressing up forward 1+2. So a lot of options. We have like the plus frame high, we have heat engager, we have lows. Lots of mix-up potential out of this stance for sure. What's also cool is that we can now transfer into a crouch. We press down 1+2, or whatever you use to get into the stance. Again, there are a lot of moves that transition into the stance, which are exactly the same, but we'll use down 1+2 just for convenience. Into the stance, if you hold down forward, you transition into a crouch. You will have access to all your while standing moves, of course, which some of them are very strong, like while standing 3 gives +17 on block and goes straight into stance again for mix-ups. Super strong option. But the main one you'll be using is crouch and then pressing 3 immediately. So stance, down forward, press 3. This is his slide, very iconic move. Used to be tied behind very heavy, well, not heavy execution, but like annoying execution kind of. Now we literally just go into stance, hold down forward, and press 3. That's it. Boom. Super simple slide. You can chain these together if you want. Keep your opponent guessing. Excellent slide. Okay, so what else? We have 2 parries, of course. One with back 1+3, back 2+4. And we have heat. So let's talk about him in heat really quick. While in heat, our 1+2 nunchuck move, which I haven't really talked about because it's not very good. Normally it's -13. It's a mid, kind of just used for extending combos. But while we're in heat, this becomes safe on block at -18, or sorry, safe on block at -8, but also becomes a regular launcher. So, boom, and you get your full combo. Awesome. What also is really cool about him is while he's in heat, we have our heat smash, directly brings us into stance. So if, oops, we gotta get our opponent to block this. If we use our heat smash, lots of ship damage, of course, and it takes us right into stance for more mix-ups. So tons of his moves go straight into that stance. Also, while in heat, he automatically parries punches, which a lot of people don't even know about. But while you're in stance, I mean. So if we go into stance while we're in heat and our opponent punches us, we get an automatic parry. So you just, whenever you're in stance, if your opponent tries to punch you, parry. We can talk about his lows really quick. We have down back 3, quick, very quick low, +3 on block. We have, we have down 1-3. A bit of a gimmicky string here, but if players don't know to duck it, then it's basically safe. They have to duck the last hit, otherwise they're not going to be able to punish it. Boom, -9, decent damage. We have, in that same vein, down 3-3, another low-high string, only -7. Gimmicky, because if they hold down, you're going to get launched for it, but something worth noting if people don't know how to like duck the second hits. Sidestep 3, very good low in my opinion. Big plus frames, +7, fast, 18 frames, and it transitions you automatically into your stance. We have down forward 4-4. Gimmicky one, very risky, but a lot of laws in low level like to go for this. For some reason, they all like to go for it. Out of the stance, I already mentioned it, but we have 4. And again, we have the slide, which I just mentioned as well. He has a decent throw game, although he no longer has a 2-break throw. They removed that in Tekken 8. But we have forward 3+4. This is a fully launching throw, which a lot of people don't know about. It's a 1+2 break, fully launching throw. Oops. And you can convert off of it. Use that. It's very good, especially in low level. And then we have forward 2+3 as our 1 break. So you have 2 mix-ups, 1+2 and 1. No 2-break, unfortunately. For punishers, pretty standard. 10 frame, 1-1-2. 12 frame is 3-4. 13 frame is 4-3 into stance mix-ups. 14 frame is 3+4, 4. Big damage. And 15 frame, we launch them with down forward 2 or up forward 4. For while standing punishment, while standing 4. 12 frame is up forward 1-3. If I can get it. For a little bit of damage. 13 frame is 1+2. And 15 frame, while standing 2, we get a launch. That's going to be about it for the martial law guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are interested in more guides like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. And we did this one really fast. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Take it easy.